When communists say that communism has never existed, they are correct. It has never existed because it can never exist, at least in the world that we have at present. Communism is a brutal, ruthless, and tyrannical, and the inevitable result of any attempt to achieve the fictional and fantastical goal of creating a perfect society. Apologists will insist that this is not real communism, but what they mean is it is not hypothetical communism. What is real are the jackboots that will kick you to your knees and the bullet that is fired through your brain because your suffering has made you an enemy of the people.
Hey everyone, so I was watching this lecture from Sargon of Akkad, and he touched on something near the end that I think is a very important point that all libertarians, ANCAPs, or free market supporters should understand. We have all heard Marxists and communists claim that the laundry list of communist countries that have all fallen down the hole of totalitarianism, famine, murder, tyranny, and general insanity, these countries were not truly communist. It's important to understand that they are technically correct. A more important argument against Marxism is that it is impossible to reach the final utopian stage of communism through any means that Marxists and communists have suggested. Communism is an ideology that claims necessary stages need to be endured to finally reach utopia. Communism is not just one thing. You cannot describe Marxism or communism as a whole by simply pointing to a country in disrepair, because it is too easy for a Marxist to claim that it isn't true Marxism, or that a country in question veered off the course of Marxism. After all, communism is a stateless, moneyless society, so any place that has one or two of those things is technically not textbook Marxism. Here is the problem they run into, though. What do Marxists advocate? They advocate for the proletariat and anyone who sympathizes with them to violently seize the means of production, the political apparatus of the country, so taking over the government, and using violence against all those who oppose them in any sense. Because in their twisted minds, they would be violent exploiters by profiting through voluntary associations, which doesn't really make much sense to me, and I can go into detail on that in another video. But out of this chaos, it is natural for human beings to look for leadership and guidance, which the violent revolution will happily provide. And you see this throughout history whenever Marxism is attempted. You see people who are good at being commanding leaders, confident, decisive, and above all, more than happy to execute anyone on little to no evidence that the person might oppose the revolution. For example, there may be hearsay that a person in the revolution has been daring enough to suggest that owning productive property isn't so bad, or even worse than that, if that person also thinks that benefiting off of a bit of profit from a well-supported venture by society at large, well, that person may soon find themselves pleading for their life at the end of a gun. It should not be shocking to anyone with half a thinking brain that the leaders within a bloodthirsty, depraved, and downright psychopathic movement like that, they will not be very adept at ushering in utopia on Earth. In fact, whenever any revolution is tried where the end goal is to eradicate private productive property, eradicate voluntary purchasing or selling, and eradicate a society in which someone can make something exceptional out of their life, it is astonishing to me that anyone is ever surprised when that ends in bloodshed and witch hunts, and does not end in a peaceful utopia where no one goes without. That's all for now. Thanks.